everyone. I'm here with Mark Geeves today, and Mark is Director of Sales and Marketing for Color Logic. And I thought we'd take a few minutes to find out more about Color Logic. So, Mark, I've been posting your press releases for quite some time, but was never familiar with what Color Logic does. What do you guys do?
We're a software company, Art, and our skill is really how to help printers help their brand clients or the commercial clients differentiate print. So every day we specialize in how to utilize metallics or neon or fluorescent inks at the design stage to make print differentiate itself from other media.
So fluorescent inks, I guess first machine that would come to mind would be a Rico. I know it can use fluorescent inks.
Yes, correct. And I'll pull up some samples as I talk, because I think one thing that's great about print is once you see it and feel it and touch it, it's great. And what's great about these videos, you get to see it. So that's off of Rico. So that's using their neon pink.
Wow.
And look at the oranges. See, a lot of people think about neon. We think like when I was young, oh, we're sitting in the bars and the neon lights and the black lights. But the neon ink on the Rico and other presses too, it really allows you to expand the gamut. Look at the oranges in there, right?
Right.
So that's off a Rico 7200.
And that's just with one neon color.
That's with one neon color. So we're putting the neon on top of the CMY, and that allows us to expand the gamut into oranges and reds.
Wow.
And that's our skill, is how we help the designer do this. That's our skill.
Wow.
All these were done in seconds and minutes versus what it might take hours to do without our tools.
Got it. So you guys can work with any manufacturer that has fifth station color?
Yep. So for a good example, we don't try to compare because there's differences of the inks, but this is off a Xerox. And we did this magazine cover for the UK.
Right.
So that's using pink, and it didn't take us very long to do that. That's the most important key. But now, look at that. Now you can do oranges and pinks into imagery. And again, it's all about helping, print service providers, when they make an investment in fifth color, what can they do with it to help their customers stand out, get a better return on response, right? That's what it's all about today.
And effectively, I mean, for for the higher end print shops who are using fifth color, could this open up an additional profit center for them?
Absolutely, in two ways. Some print service providers have their own design team, right? So they can actually make revenue doing the design work, or they can go into agencies and promote our software, or into design firms and help them utilize this fifth color. So it really creates a whole new revenue stream, frankly. And it's just a growing market. And in the past, as you know, everybody tried to make digital match offset or conventional printing. But what's happening today, which is great, is really digital printing is coming into its own. Why try to make it match offset? With all the personalization, now all the colors and the embellishments that you can do, digital is becoming a leader for that type of application.
Really? Would you say that we're in the infancy of digital color now?
Absolutely. For print embellishment, we are.
Really?
Really only 0.5%, from what the industry tells us, only 0.5% of the digital pages have embellishment. The rest of it is just CMYK, boring, forgettable stuff.
So tell us more about embellishment. I've heard it kicked around a few times, but if somebody asked me what embellishment is, I couldn't tell them. So please.
In the simplest form, embellishment is anytime you do something to the surface of a printed sheet that makes it stand out. For a lot of applications, it could be as simple as putting a clear coating or a clear ink on top of a file.
Okay.
We consider it using the neons, like we just said, or the fluorescent, but we also look at the fact that with a lot of these engines, we can take metallic substrates.
Right.
And now using the white off these engines, we can start to create these kind of files. So embellishment to me is when it stands out and you've done it through adding a fifth color or something to the surface, could be a clear, that makes a product stand out. And it's growing. And there's applications. I mean, there's a beautiful one. That's a golf ball box, right?
Right.
So what's nice about digital, you can have the personalization, you can have one or two, or you could have hundreds, thousands.
So the substrates, is that something you would get from a company like Relico?
Absolutely, absolutely. Relico is one of our strong partners, and they got several type of substrates that can be utilized for print embellishment. A lot of metallics, they got a lot of pearls. And they also have other stocks that are synthetic that you can put the silver toners that are out there now, or the silver inks that are out there, and you can do embellishment with silver ink. It doesn't always have to be white ink or metallic.
Right. So that's what I wanted to get a little more into. So for me, being a little a novice with the digital print, you mentioned the word pearls.
Yep.
Could you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Sure. This is what I'd call a pearl substrate. It's from Relico, actually. It's a nice soft surface. It's dual-sided, so you can print on both sides.
Right.
And what it does, it gives you that soft touch look and feel, right? That pearl. So this is a book that we did that with Relico. It's a 48-page booklet.
Nice. Okay.
But also, what you have the ability to do is there's all these bright metallic stocks too.
Okay.
And when you do with this, you will use the white plus CMYK, and that allows you to produce these type of embellishments.
Wow.
Yeah. Or like I showed you in the golf ball box, right? So that was done with metallic substrate.
Right. So
what's really great is people like Relico are developing substrates for this digital platform.
Right.
We're developing software, and the press manufacturers themselves are developing the white inks and the neon or fluorescent inks.
Right.
That really are really helping differentiate digital again, you know, getting back into its own realm.
Very interesting. So how about I know Rico just released gold and silver.
Yep.
Toners.
Yep.
And you can work with those and actually create different metallics off of those?
Correct. So let's take silver, for example. What we do is we take one silver ink or one silver substrate. We don't care. Our system works for both.
Okay.
But this is a silver ink sample. We created 250 metallic colors based on one silver ink. So we allow printers to produce this. That's one pass off a digital press.
Wow.
And we can do embellishments too, but just think about that. One ink allows them to produce 250 metallic colors with silver ink. If they have a metallic substrate like we just talked about, they can do the same thing, 200, and it looks like foil, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, so what's nice about this is these sheets with the white ink, it'll look like digital foil. So we work with both.
I'm stunned. So your software will I guess you're a separate piece of software, and that the graphic artists do they do the design in Illustrator and work with your software? How does that work?
Absolutely. And that's the thing about it. Most print service providers, since your background is that area, they don't really do a lot of design, right? So our system is we sell a license to the printer. They get so many copies of our software. First thing they would do is produce their own swatch book.
Right.
And then they could sell or give or bid, give our software, which is Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign, plugins and palettes. And what's great is any level designer can utilize our tools to create these kind of embellishments that you're seeing. You don't have to have a special skill. You got to be able to watch some videos, and you got to be able to use Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign.
Right.
And what I tell everybody is this. I said, it's sort of like, you bought a new press,
Right.
we're like, that's like an Uber driver, right? And today what happens is they go where they're told. And we try to give the designer the tools that give them the navigation of how to get there. So when the file comes to the print service provider, they just print it and it moves on. And that's really what we do. We're a navigation system. We tell you how to get from point A to point B to create these kind of embellishments that you're seeing.
That's pretty incredible. Now with your, so is it possible for a rep like me to get a hold of a color swatch that you just showed and walk into a print shop and say, hey, look what we can do?
Actually, what we do is the opposite way, because see, the thing about metallics is you should get the swatch book from the print service provider off their press, because then you can get the colors from that press.
Got it. So maybe with somebody like Rico, because I'm familiar with Rico, they would be the ones to actually give the swatch book out.
Actually, their printers would. So when they buy a license from us, we give them a file that allows the printer to produce their own swatch book. This isn't like Pantone. This is actually from a press. This one is from a customer in Minnesota, right?
Right.
So this is their swatch book. It's not Rico's swatch book. It's not ours. It's not Relico. It's what they did off their press. And what that means to you, you're going to get this color if you go to them and get it printed.
Right. Well, all I'm saying is if I have I have the higher end Rico box, and we've got our graphic designer, and we've got Color Logic running on it, I could produce those swatch books.
Absolutely. Yep.
And then in turn, I could give them to my salespeople to go out and knock on doors, or hey, look what our machine can do.
That's exactly right. And the other, that's our system, and that's our model totally. And the other thing we have done, though, because it's been COVID and we're all tight for resources, is we also provide our licensed printers with over 100 press-ready marketing files. We've got calendars, we've got greeting cards, we got business cards, we got thank you cards, we got magnets, all these are direct mail pieces, everything they might need to start interest. Because one thing about people who buy these new presses with the 5th color, we found out pretty quickly, one of the things they didn't have was enough time. Right. And their resources. So we've been adding files. So during COVID, we added over 40 plus files. So now we have over 100 press ready marketing files.
Wow, that's it. Now, how does do you guys offer training, or is a lot of training involved with your software?
Training is very important, and I think that's what our industry needs, because most designers aren't trained on embellishment. Right. So we do it through videos. We have a great manual, but nobody reads it either. So we have about 20 tutorial videos of tips and tricks and how to do things. They're mostly about 4 or 5 minutes. Right. And the great thing is anyone who's been trained in Photoshop and Illustrator can use our tools. Nice. And it's self-paced. So you don't have to come to us. We actually have it when you log in. We have it up in the cloud, and you can download it as a licensed printer or designer and go at your own pace. Wow. So another question I have is, I know with Rico, I can actually go to their price book and I can purchase the Color Logic software. Yep. And I guess that would be true of Canon, Xerox, Konica Minolta. Most of those people are starting to resell our product. Rico and Xerox are the two that are focused. Rico, Konica is coming on. And the other thing I will point out too is one thing Rico is doing now too is they're actually selling a training service with our software. Really? It's a 10-week program, so that they've hired a few designers that actually help their customers go to market. because
Wow.
one thing about it, all print starts with design.
Yes.
So no matter how many presses Ricoh or Xerox might sell, somebody has to know what to do with it. Somebody has to want to get in that Uber, right? And go someplace they've never been before. And that's really that. And I've also seen Xerox has done the same thing. They have their 5th color initiative, you know, and we're part of that too, of trying to help design community, because what we all have found is nobody thinks about digital for embellishment. It's just really novice. It's really at the entry level, even though it's been being done for years.
Right.
So it's very exciting for me. When I go into agencies, I show them things off a Ricoh or a Xerox engine. They go, what? That came off what? And we're also working with companies. Are you familiar with Duplo, who makes some finishing equipment?
Familiar with Duplo, yes.
So this is what we do with them on top of what we just talked about. So this is Color Logic off a digital press. Sorry, upside down.
Okay.
Off a digital press. And we're adding their technology on top.
And what's the Duplo technology that you're adding?
It's a coating. This is called the Duplo Sense. So it actually gives it a texture feel. So now you're not getting the dimensional look. When you feel this, you actually get the texture. And there are other people out there that have this type of technology, but look at that stuff. It's just brilliant.
Yeah.
And who would have thunk that this was done off a, what we call a color copier, which is really a digital press today. Come on, we still don't get past that terminology. And I think that's what designers have a hard time with. They think of color copiers. These are digital presses.
Yeah, they absolutely are. So I see some other cool looking samples in that background there. You have anything else that would be interesting?
Well, the big thing is when you think about what people might want to do, they might want to have large format output to go with direct mail pieces or signage in stores. So we support offset, we support UV inkjet, we support flexo, we support gravure, screen print. And the reason we do all that is because now we can offer campaigns. So a lot of the people who have digital presses might have a large format output, right? And they might want to do, they might want to do a poster.
Right.
So guess what? It's our same software, but we can work with them on that platform too. So we have a lot of customers that have maybe 2 or 3 different platforms that we help them with.
Interesting. And as more of the traditional copier manufacturers get into the production space of wide format, that could be pretty interesting.
Yeah. Well, this banner here was done with a vinyl, off a UV inkjet.
Right.
And it's,
so could that be made into a car wrap also?
We can do car wraps too. 3M has material, so we can do car wraps. We are actually printing on metal cans. I mean, it's crazy what you can do with print technology today.
Wow.
We're also working on some metallic substrates that are more fabric oriented. And speaking of the neons, there's a lot of engines out there that have neon inks for inkjet. So we can start doing that on fabric and clothing.
Correct.
And extended color gamut there too. So we're pretty excited. So, our Color Logic deals with metallics. Our Touch 7 technology is all about neon and fluorescence.
Right.
And what we see these press and printer manufacturers coming out with, and these substrate companies like Relico and Hazen, et cetera, Kernel, it's fabulous what can be done in print today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, this is all great, Mark. I really, really appreciate the time. I know it's late on a Friday, and we all want to get the weekend started. But we're going to get this on the site. And everybody, again, this is Color Logic. And a big thanks. And some really cool stuff that you can do with these production machines. And again, Mark is with Director of Sales for Color Logic. And I'm going to post a link on the site. So if anybody needs to speak to Mark, they can call you, Mark.
Absolutely. Be happy to.
All right. Well, great. I thank you very, very much for your time. You have a great weekend, and we'll be talking soon.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.